Hello everyone, SirMonkeySuit Azabi here, back again with House of the Dragon Season 1. We are on episode 7, and in episode 6, things are really starting to take a turn. I feel like things are going a bit haywire. And it's all really down to one man, Laris, really, who's kind of taking sort of things into his own hands and acting like it's more to do with what Alicent's wishes are. But I just feel like Laris himself, I think he has visions of being in a much more grand position than he currently is. And he's, you know, basically now got some sort of dirt on the Queen in regards to what Laris actually did to his father and his brother, because he essentially had them killed, and not just killed, but burned alive. Which is nuts. I didn't see that coming whatsoever. I mean, I knew that Laris was like a weird sort of like in the background listening a lot of the time. He had, you know, he has a lot of those same tropes that, you know, like Littlefinger and Varys had. So it's not a surprise that like he would have some game to play. But I never thought that like it would be against his own family, for his own self-interest. But bloody hell, what do I expect in this world? I guess that kind of thing happens all the time. So, yeah, other than that, a timescape, it was 10 years on. Rhaenyra's now had children. She has 3, all insinuated to be from Laenor, but instead come on, they're Harwin's children. So they are all technically bastards. They are all donning the dark hair, not the Targaryen silver. And that has caused a lot of strife within the kingdom and the family, and Alicent is totally against this whole thing. I mean, that's just bringing a hell of a lot of shame on the family if it ever gets out there. And rumors are rife at the moment, so it's not a great place to be in. Viserys is still alive. I don't know how. it's absolutely nuts. God, what else? We had Daemon and Laena, who are actually together, not for very long. Laena did end up getting Vhagar as a dragon, which is insane. I can't believe they've managed to get like a dragon from like essentially an ancient dragon, one that was like beside Balerion, like in the show. It's just really cool, and the fucking thing is massive. So yeah, that whole thing, that marriage, I guess, was cut short relatively in the show, down to 1 episode, because Laena was giving birth, and she ended up, you know, complications arose, and she wanted to die a Dragon Rider's death, so she ran out to Vhagar and basically self-Dracarys'd herself. Yeah, what a way to go out, eh? So that leaves basically Daemon with his 2 kids. You know, being a lone father. He never really showed, like, I mean, they kind of, you know, they insinuated that Daemon wasn't really around as a father to them, like they don't really talk or stuff and stuff like that. So, you know, it's going to be interesting to see how he how that relationship ends up being, because him being on his own, you know. Rhaenyra had enough, so she's leaving for Dragonstone, and that basically puts herself, like, it does set up things to be very, very complicated going forward. I mean, we've already sowed the seed of this whole thing of like Rhaenyra being the heir, or is it going to go down to Alicent's children? So yeah, it's this is going to be interesting going forward. So I don't think there's anything else to really talk about. I think we're just going to get in episode 7 and see what we get. So as always, the reaction will be here on YouTube. If you do want to watch my full-length reaction to this episode, then the link is down in the description below. And there's also a link to episode 8's reaction as well. So if you want that for early access, then the link is down in the description for you there. So you don't have to wait a week for the next episode. But yeah, nothing else to really talk about. So we are going to get in episode 7 and see what we get. So without further ado, let's go. This must be Laena's funeral. Yeah. Oh shit! Dude! I just thought... Otto! Wow, he's got Han the King again. So that's their funeral ceremony. Oh, I wonder how many's down there. Yeah, kids are having none of it. they just kind of know that Harwin Strong was the father. Relationships don't get any easier, do they?
We have nothing in common.
This is.
She's our sister.
She's an odd one, isn't she?
I would perform my duty.
It was her that had to offer the hands.
I don't want to.
So Corlys doesn't believe that they're
birthright, lad.
gonna offer some sympathies. No, well, give him a smile, something. I love scenes where people just have to look at each other like from far away, and it's just like tensions in the air, and
You should return with us to King's Landing.
they just want that.
I know we've had our differences, but let them pass with the years. I need nothing.
He's proper jaded now, isn't he?
Sorry for your loss, my prince.
Oh god, these two.
How fat the leech grows, it always wants for another meal.
I'm going to bed, Emma. Shall I see after Queen Alice?
Emma?
Brother!
Nope.
Daemon did what he thought best.
Daemon only ever does what is best for Daemon.
True.
Lena needed our maesters.
Or is she just looking for like
Looking
reasons?
to place blame
Yeah.
for an act of the gods.
I gave up the idea of wearing a crown a generation ago. It is you, Lord Husband, who refuses to abandon this pursuit, even now at the cost of our children. I want Driftmark to pass through Lena's line to Baelor.
You would have me cast an even darker shadow over those little boys than already exists.
They are aware.
Rhaenyra's children are not of your blood.
Yeah.
History does not remember blood. It remembers names.
It's an interesting way of looking at it, because I don't know if any other character I've, even in Game of Thrones, that like had that sort of...
Should have forbidden Sir Harwin from returning to the Riverlands.
Ghost story. One Sir Otto and the Queen would gladly exploit.
Damon immediately went to that. I mean, he's not far off,
More
but...
than you would believe.
You abandoned me.
I spared you. You were a child.
Oh, this is what this is about.
Yes, I was a child.
How do you get around this, though? Like, you know what I mean? The rumours are all about her children and whatnot is one thing, and now they're going to have to skirt around this whole thing again. God, man, she doesn't make it easy for herself, does she? Like, I mean, she even blamed friggin' Daemon for abandoning her. It's like that was the reason why her life turned to shit, because Daemon fucked off. Jeez. Oh, God, friggin' following dragons again. There's Vhagar. Surely not. I mean, surely not. Aemon can just take Vhagar. Look at the fucking size of the thing. It's ridiculous. Oh shit. Oh, fucking hell. Just like, get the fuck away from me. I'm trying to sleep here. Let's go for it again. Like, dude. Like, it's okay. It's the hell, man. If you're intending to ride the thing, have you ever ridden before? Because I would say it if he just takes Vhagar, if he's now like that's his dragon. Bloody hell! Fucking hell, dude! Like, surely you've got to strap yourself down to that thing. You can't just hang on by your hands. Dude, I'm sure this means that Aemon has Vhagar now, right? If you're not bonded with one, you have to almost like take one, right? And I'm sure that's what Lena must have done with Vhagar. That's insane, like.
Someone stole Vhagar.
I don't think it's like as simple as like stealing a dragon. I don't think it's, you know. Yeah.
Vhagar has a new rider now.
She was mine to claim.
Then you should have claimed her. Maybe your
yeah.
cousins can find you a pig to ride.
Oh, jeez. Oh, but they weren't involved in it. Oh, Jesus. Oh, fucking hell. It's all kicking off between these kids. Oh, Jesus Christ.
You will die screaming in flames just as your father did. bastards.
Holy fucking hell, Eamon. Oh fucking hell! Someone's gonna get seriously fucking. Oh my god! Holy fuck! Oh my god! They've taken his eye.
You swore oaths to protect and defend my blood!
Who did this?
They attacked me.
That's.
They attacked Baylor. They took us.
But it's true though. It's true. I mean, he was a bit harsh and like very forward on it.
Prince Lucerys brought a blade to the ambush. He meant to kill my son.
Yeah, I mean that is
It was my
fucked.
sons who were attacked and forced to defend themselves. Prince Aemond must be sharply questioned so we might learn where he heard such slanders.
We know, Father. Everyone knows. Just look at them.
Oh god.
We are family! Now make your apologies and show goodwill to one another.
Jesus.
Goodwill cannot make him whole.
I know, Alicent. But I cannot restore his eye.
No, because it's been taken. I gave one of her son's eyes in return.
Fucking hell.
Alicent!
Jesus Christ. Oh my god, this is not going to end well.
Let her go!
Where is duty? Where is sacrifice? It's trampled under your pretty foot again.
Release the blade, Alicent.
She drew blood.
I may have lost an eye, but I gained a dragon.
It's like the lines have been drawn here.
I've disgraced myself.
And yet, I've never seen that side of you, my daughter.
He's happy about that.
I even doubted its existence. What that rogue Aemond has done in winning Vhagar to our side, it's worth 1,000 times the price he paid.
Wow. Oh, where were you?
Aemond called our sons bastards.
I tried.
I had hoped to bear your children. You
They're
are an
legitimate.
honourable man with a good heart.
You deserve a husband.
Okay.
If it's an eye you want, balance the scales. I am your servant.
Fucking hell, Laris.
The day will doubtless come when I require such a friend.
Casta ti merpina i uragon costandaur.
The greens.
Ilvur anogri ilo letago.
But how do you get around that? How do you...
Jeez.
We could not marry unless Leonor were dead.
I know.
Surely not.
Do you know? There are places across the narrow sea where it doesn't matter what a man's name is. Only how much gold he possesses. A quick death. One with witnesses. If you are to be a strong queen, you must cultivate love and respect, yes, but your subjects must fear you.
This is
Let him in here.
fucking mental.
Set him free.
You forget yourself.
I don't even know what that means.
My lord, please.
This will cost Lord Corlys and Princess Rhaenys their only remaining child.
Fucking hell.
Somehow responsible.
How? I don't know, man. How are they going to get away with this? Like, Rhaenyra's gone full bad here. You can't do that. Oh, they're legitimately getting married here. Ugh. Bloody kiss. Nice. Oh, shit. It was a fake death. So they can leave and do whatever they want now. Right, okay, this makes sense. Okay, episode 7. Wow, okay. I wasn't expecting that. I was not expecting that. That'll be why there had to be witnesses, right? Because Daemon said a quick death and let there be witnesses so that they can witness a death, make it seem like it is actually Leonor. Leonor can get away, do whatever the hell he wants, get away from all of the fucking, the shit that he doesn't care about. And he can just go live his life over in Essos and do his own thing. I don't know what that means for his dragon though. It's like you can't hide it, right? If you're a dragon rider, so what is going to happen to Sea Smoke then? You know, I don't know. I don't know if like somebody else can now go and claim Sea Smoke. You know, I don't know. But I'm sure like dragons and whatnot, like they have that like sort of connection with their dragon rider. I don't know if, because it's like all magical based and whatnot, I don't know if Sea Smoke knows that Leonor is alive or not. But yeah, I like how Leonor went full as well. Like got rid of all of the hair, so you can't tell. Yeah, very good, very good. Yeah, so I wonder if Leonor will just go off and fight in the Stepstones or whatever rather than go to Essos. I mean, Daemon wanted him to go to Essos, right? You know, I'm sure there's plenty friggin' battles and, you know, wars and mercenary work and whatever you can get involved in over there if you really wants to. But yeah, so wow, I feel like this episode was the one where the kind of like the battle lines of like truly being drawn. Like you could see where it was like practically like a clear line and a group of people standing over here and then some standing over there. It does make it interesting that there can be outliers, so like those that you are unsure which side they would actually join. So for example, now that well, actually, no, they won't, would they? I'm trying to think, like, the, like, Corlys and whatnot. I guess they assume that, well, no, because this is the thing, like, now that Rhaenyra has now married Daemon, Corlys and Rhaenys are going to believe that there's something up with the fact that Laenor's now just dead. And who did it, right? Because unless there was a time skip between when Laenor died and Rhaenyra and Daemon getting married, I wouldn't think there was though, because well, the way it was set up in the show was just like it was all happening, kind of, you know, at least not far after. So I don't know, man. I just feel like when you take logic into account, like, you know, Rhaenys and Corlys surely aren't going to be, like, fooled by thinking that, oh, it's a bit weird how not this long after Laenor's dead, Rhaenyra and Daemon's gotten married so that their claim can be strengthened. Like, it just seems that, you know, seems a bit too obvious, you know? So that kind of just puts them in an interesting position as to who, like, if they have to take a side, who will they side with? I don't know, man. I just, like, everything Rhaenyra does, I just feel like it's always a decision that doesn't help her cause. Like, I just feel like every time. I will say that when Laenor was talking with Rhaenyra there towards the end, and he was like, you know, it's sorry, like, basically, like, he was putting it down to his fault that, you know, that he couldn't give her babies, which is fair enough, I guess. And I guess maybe the societal pressure of Rhaenyra being the heir and she has to have heirs means that she had to find them somewhere. But again, like, if she's being this dutiful, was there no one else that she could have found? I guess not. I guess you don't really have you can't really have a sixth sense into, like, you know, and Daemon was away at the time, wasn't he? So there wasn't really any suitors. Yeah. I guess not. So I guess, yeah, she would like, you know, that was one where she couldn't really help. But I mean, God, it just becomes a thing of, like, the parents and whatnot is what makes this all fucked up. Like, because it's the children that are gonna, I feel like it's the children that are, I'm trying to think of a good sort of like they're like a match, you know what I mean? Like they're the ones that like it's initially like the war's going to be between, almost like it's them that almost like light the match, just because they're the ones who are like the next heirs. I mean, in this episode, they're the ones that literally went at each other. I mean, it felt like nothing at first. Like, first of all, like, Aemond, he's gone and got Vhagar, right? Now, all of that stemmed from way back when, where he didn't get a dragon, and he got bullied for it, right? And then, you know, they gave him the pink dread and whatnot, right? Who was it that was mostly involved in that? Was it... I mean, it was Aegon, Jace, and... Was Lucerys there? I don't know. But they're the ones that were bullying him, right? So he has this curiosity for dragons because he doesn't have one. So he goes out and gets one that is currently free, right? Which he's well within his right to do. Like, I don't think there was anything truly wrong with that. Like, there wasn't any... Like, I mean, I would assume that there is no pact where it's like, oh, Laena's dead, therefore it's one of her daughter's dragons then. I don't think that's a thing. So I think Aemond is well within his right to go and claim the dragon that is currently unclaimed. So the daughters go in search of Jace and Luke, come armed to him. I mean, what was their plan? You know? Aemond as well, like, doesn't help his cause, because he comes off what I assume is just, like, pure, like, adrenaline, I guess. Like, I don't know, like, does he have this... Because now he has the biggest dragon, that he has this sort of, like, almost untouchable thing about him? Because, I mean, Aemond wasn't like that before. I mean, we literally saw him earlier on in the episode try to fucking... I wrote it down. Like... that, you know, Aemond attempting to offer some sympathy by going over and giving him a like, you know, like a smile, like some form of like, oh, I'm sorry. And then he goes and gets this dragon, and all of a sudden he comes off and he's all like, you know, Billy Big Bollocks. So he doesn't help his cause in the fact that he starts insulting them. But I mean, Jesus, like, a lot of it just escalated out of nowhere. Like, it didn't help on either side what they were doing. I mean, they were crowding him, like, literally a 4-on-1 situation, you know? And Aemond is basically egging them on. So it's like, you know, it's so bad from both sides. But I mean, Jesus, like, when you're, like, this is the thing, like, from that point on, that's when it just becomes madness, because he's in a 4-on-1 situation, right? I don't know how much older he is than the others, right? But there's two girls, obviously. Jace is younger than him, I think. And Luke is definitely younger than him. So, yeah, madness. And then, like, you know, it basically gets to a point where it's just like, you know, it grabs a rock. And then fucking, you know, Jace gets the knife out. And it's just like, Jesus Christ, did I have to escalate to this level? And then, of course, Aemond loses an eye. And that's where it's like first blood kind of thing. You know, and it's from Rhaenyra's side. So shit goes down. Laenor's off doing whatever the fuck he's doing. Obviously, he's dealing with the death of his sister and whatnot, and, you know, so he's probably drinking his sorrows away. Rhaenyra's off fucking Daemon. You know, another thing that Rhaenyra is like, fucking hell, will you calm down? Will you stop? You know what I mean? Jesus, stop and just do things right. And I think this is the point, like, with Rhaenyra, like, I'm more on side of Alicent and her things, like her way of it, as opposed to Rhaenyra, because Alicent, and I think that it's purposefully written like this, right? It's like Alicent is sort of like, she was forced into this whole thing, and she's, even though she was like not happy with the way that things had to be, she sacrificed and did what she had to do for her duty. And then on the other hand, you've got Rhaenyra, who consistently just goes against the grain and makes things worse, right? So I have to take like the fact that Rhaenyra constantly going against like the order of things that is causing the chaos, right? Now I know it's not entirely down to her. Like there are things at play that worsen situations, you know. But this goes back to like episode 4 or what I think it was, where Daemon obviously took out a younger Rhaenyra and whatnot, and then showed her the pleasures and all of that stuff. And it's like, wait, you know, in that episode, that was the episode that I kind of coined as like the Rhaenyra sort of like rebellious kind of episode, because everything that Rhaenyra was doing was completely against like what like she should be doing for her duty, right? And I just feel like that has just continued on, you know, and everything she does makes it so that like the situation it enforces just a more chaos into the situation, which doesn't help. She does not help her cause. You know what I mean? She's supposed to be the heir of the throne, and she's the one that's almost like a catalyst for everything going wrong. Again, I did say the fact that, like, you know, Laenor essentially let her down, and if there wasn't anyone else that, you know, that could be like a sort of like a better match, so that things like, you know, the black-haired kids or the dark-haired kids makes it like obvious that they're not, you know, their children, legitimate children. So, you know, so I don't know. I go on the side of like Alicent, but it's the thing that makes it interesting is that like you have other things that escalate things to worse, like, you know, Viserys, for example, right? He's like, so as a king, when we've talked about this before, like he makes either like wrong decisions or he's indecisive, and he doesn't like act and make decisions that can you know stop the seed from growing, to stop it from, you know, spreading into anarchy and chaos. And this is another example of that, where like he, you know, all of them are his family, right? And he just wants peace for Christ's sake. But like you're dealing with a situation where your son has lost an eye, right? And you know, I'm positive like any other king, like I imagine even Jaehaerys, like the previous king, would have had something done there that needed to be done in order to stop this, like to stop it, right? The fact is that because he lets it go, like emotions flare up even more so, to the point where Alicent's going mad, you know, and that in turn just creates more drama, more chaos. You know what I mean? Like the whole chance at peace between these two sides is like, you know, it's down to a thread at this point. You know what I mean? Like it's getting to the point where this is unsalvageable now, you know. And unfortunately, lack of decisions are not helping that. So Viserys isn't helping that. But this is the way Viserys has always been. You know, that's the thing, is like why when I say that like Rhaenyra isn't helping her cause, is like if you go all the way back to when, like, to episode 1, when Viserys makes her heir and everything like that, that like from that moment on, that is the duty that you need to be held to in this sort of like in the society that it is. Like you have to be dutiful, and it's like you have to be like you have to almost do everything to a T, because everything you're going to be doing is scrutinized, unfortunately, because you're a woman who is set to take the throne, and you know society don't see that as a good thing. They want a male heir on the throne. They don't want a woman. So like everything you're doing is going to be, unfairly rightly so, more scrutinized. So you need to be like by the book. And unfortunately she goes the other way and does everything, like she goes against everything, which makes it like just a situation that is just ripe for just, we're going to war here. You know. And so yeah, absolutely insane, man. I mean, fair play to Aemond. He gets up and he says, listen, it's fair trade. I got a dragon out of it, so fuck that. You know what I mean? But the funny thing is that he claims it as a trade. Like, he claims... I don't know, is it the fact that he lost an eye for a dragon? Or was he referring to it being a trade of, like, the trade for his eye was for Rhaenyra to get sliced open, you know? Because if he's talking about the eye for a dragon, well, that wasn't a trade. Like, Aemond, you could have easily just had the dragon and not insulted the kids. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you could have easily done that, and then you wouldn't have had to trade an eye for it. But I mean, Jesus, I don't know if just for the fact that he has now got a dragon and he is like power, like he's got power surging through his veins, and he's like running on adrenaline, that like the fact that he lost an eye, and it's almost like, fuck it, I don't care. You know what I mean? Like, Jesus. Insane, man. Like, yeah, Aemon's took a real, like, he's done like a full like 180, you know. And it's interesting, like, especially the fact that obviously he gets the dragon, he flies around on it, Daemon's looking on, and it's kind of looking a bit like, oh shit, like worried. And I wonder if it's because Daemon realizes that the battle lines have almost been drawn anyway. He's going to be on one side of them, and basically what Aemond has done has got Vhagar to the other side, which is a big deal. And you see like Otto even talking about, like, Otto loves it. Otto loves all of that. Like, Jesus, this was cool. Even like the fact that like Alicent was like so like ready to fight for this whole thing. You know, because I mean, I'm sure like obviously in Otto's like his whole thing, you need like his whole thing has always been to get Aegon on the throne and not have it be Rhaenyra. So of course anything that sort of is like Alicent fighting for it is obviously gonna, like, he's obviously gonna love it for that. But I mean, Alicent was regretful after the whole thing, like, you know, talking about like how, you know, people are talking, the rumors are going around that I've gone mad, but it's not her fault. Like, everything that she's doing is for her station. She's doing it for dutiful reasons, like, you know, and she's had to sacrifice and everything for that. You know, and to see what is happening around where illegitimate children are being born, which goes against like all of the friggin' laws and everything, and it's insanely taboo and whatnot, and it's like she's the only one that's like willing to even open up about this whole thing, but Viserys just chalks it off and doesn't. No, we don't care about that. You know what I mean? Stop talking shit. And it's just like, Jesus, it's no wonder she's going mad, because it's like she's the only one, like, to her anyway, from her, like, it's like she's the only one that's actually seeing and willing to accept that this isn't right, you know, for the order of things. Mental, man. I mean, she did go a little bit mad, to be fair. But it's no wonder. I mean, she literally asked like an eye for an eye. Even Kristen didn't want to do it. I mean, Kristen's got all this hatred built up against Rhaenyra, but like, you know what I mean, like, it kind of stops at the fact that, yeah, I'm not taking a kid's eye. Yeah, mental. Alicent confirming Larys will be needed, so even like Alicent's like, yeah, this is going to go down, like, this isn't going to go down well. There will be a time when she's going to need Larys. I mean, he's a good pawn to have, I guess, you know. I mean, we've seen what he can do so far, so, you know. And he did that with, what, 3 prisoners? So, yeah, big players. God, what else? Yeah, Viserys calling Alicent Emma as well. Like, it's just another thing of like he's losing it. I don't know how long he's got left. Keep expecting like in you know, in the next episode he's going to be dead and then he's alive. You know. Yeah. Corlys as well. Like, that was an interesting one. Like, Corlys being like, you know, it's not about blood. It's about names. That's what they remember. But I do find it interesting the way like Rhaenys was talking about, and this was before they even before Laenor died, and that he was like, you know what I mean, like she's like almost done with the whole political thing as well, like this whole she's not entirely done with it, but she understands as well from that side that, you know, Rhaenyra's kids aren't legitimate. They don't have Valyrian blood. And she wants that order of things to go down the right way, and also it's a way to, you know, to mark, like, you know, to respect Laena as well. And the fact that, like, she was like, oh, you know what I mean, like, all of this, like, bollocks, you know what I mean, she just wants her family to be okay. And that she got over the whole, you know, the fact that she didn't get given the crown and whatnot. Like, she got over that. But Corlys wants to keep that, you know. And he's like all about legacy and whatnot. I do find it interesting, the names over blood thing. And he's completely fine with it at the end of the day. But yeah, Aegon as well is to marry Helena apparently. So that's an interesting one. They've just decided to do that, I guess, to strengthen the family. And Aegon didn't want to do it. Aemon seems like he'd be fine, but he'd do the duty. And yeah, Helena's a weird one, isn't she? Like she plays with insects and she speaks in tongues. You know, it's possible that she's probably a prophecy like kind of character, I'd imagine. Like what she talks in riddles is something that like is taking place. You know, like you could probably read into what she's saying, and in fact, actually, she mentioned like green thread, didn't she? And at the end there, Rhaenyra referred to them as the Greens. So I guess the Alicent side is the Greens then. Interesting. I'll have to go back and look and see what else she said, because it might be interesting just to keep up on what Helena's saying, and to like, you know, to try and get an idea of exactly what she's talking about. That would be really cool. God, what else? I love the fact that Otto has returned, to be honest, because I just love him. I just like him as a character, you know what I mean? I like the fact that he literally goes down those stairs and kicks Aegon and drags him up, like, because obviously Otto wants him to be king, and Aegon is not acting like a future king. So that was good. I like the fact as well that like he literally turned around as well, like to make sure no one was watching before he did it, because, you know, to assault a royal family member would not be taken lightly. So that was really funny. The funeral as well. That was an interesting way that the Valyrians do their funerals. You know, take them to the sea. They talked about like the Merlin King and whatever, and that will protect them down there forever. I do wonder how many of the family members and whatnot are actually down there. You know, but yeah, it is always interesting, like, to see the different cultures and whatnot and what they do, and they get a sort of like a sea funeral, an ocean funeral. God, what else? I think I've pretty much covered everything. Everything that I need to. Yeah, I mean, the big one for this episode was the sort of the lines being drawn. I think it's kind of like, I mean, just for being like talking about it in a meta sense. Of course, it's not gonna. Of course, things are obviously gonna go bad. We all know that it will. But I think this was the episode that like confirmed that from like almost like from here on out, that's kind of it. You know what I mean? We're going one way, and we can't salvage any real peace here between the two sides. So yeah, it's definitely going to be interesting. You know, dragons on both sides. This is really cool. I do want to see like the dragons of Aegon and Helena if she's got one. I don't know if she does. I know Aegon does. But when they were sailing away in 3 dragons, like obviously we saw Vhagar. Aegon definitely does have one. I just don't know what I'm trying to think of the third one would be. It has to be Helena's, right? Because there's no one else on that ship that has a dragon. I'm sure. Viserys doesn't, does he? He may do, but he just might never ride it. But yeah, I don't know. But I would like to see them because we haven't really seen them yet. and whatnot. So yeah, I mean, I don't see Eamon getting bullied anytime, well, anymore. Now that the fact that he's got, you know, the largest dragon in the world. So that's definitely going to be interesting going forward. But anyway, yeah, that is all I've got. So thank you everyone for watching. In the description below, I have links to certain things that mostly like just over on Patreon. So if you want to get over to Patreon, if you want to get access to early access reactions, like episode 8 reaction for House of the Dragon, then you can get over on my Patreon and get that tier. There's also the full-length tier, which gives you access to all the full-length reactions that I do, to all the shows I do. And then there's the exclusive tier, which gives you access to full-length movie reactions and everything like that. I will be reacting to the third My Hero movie very soon, so if you're interested in that, get yourself over there. And yeah, that's all I've got. So thank you for watching. I'll see you all next time. Bye-bye.